Hey y'all, it's finally fall here in the Ozarks. Chilly day. Been working on some tackle. You know what that means? Fall in the Ozarks. You know what that means, right? Maybe fall a lot of places. You know what that means, right? Okay, so autumn in the Ozarks and probably throughout most of the Mid-South. Transition of different techniques, different ways to catch fish. Some of the old ways will work all the way through too, but for me, I'm going to be throwing a lot of crankbaits, a lot of topwaters, and pretty soon some jerk baits. Maybe I've already thrown jerk baits. That means treble hooks, okay? Treble hooks bring in a whole bunch of problems in bass fishing. And I'm going to talk about that for just a minute here, because I've been working on some tackle, fixing to do some fall fishing, got some tournaments coming up, and some things come to light I think I ought to talk about. Maybe I can help y'all with something. I sure need some help myself. I can tell it's fall. It's in the 50s out here. Choking on snot all morning. That's part of being old. Maybe it's not just the weather. Maybe it's I'm allergic to work. So here's what the thing is. First off, going through baits. I own way too many lures like most fishermen do. I own thousands and thousands and thousands of baits. What made me think about this though is when I'm getting ready to go fishing, serious fall and some tournament stuff coming on, is hooks and being sharp. And I'm a big believer in sharp hooks. It's the most important thing you can do with a bait. Any kind of bait, single hook bait or a crankbait or topwater or jerk bait, whatever. But the treble hook things bring into the recipe for disaster thing that happens. And what I did is I own literally thousands of crankbaits. I bet you own 2,000, 3,000 crankbaits. And here lately, I've been gifted more of them. I own a lot of baits. Ridiculous how many baits. And they're all cool. But I bought some new stuff this last week because my balsa baits, I'm down. I've lost a box or two. I remember years ago I've loaned stuff out and never got it back. But the balsa, the Bagleys, I even bought some blanks to make some of my own this winter because I'm down on them. So I bought some B2s and B1 Bagleys. The B2 is a 2.5 inch standard bait. I won't be able to pull this out now, you watch. They're all going to be stuck together. I bought some B1s, which is the 2-inch bait. And I also bought some Rapalas. Real pretty. Man, look at that thing. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. They're not balsa. I'm pretty sure. It says balsa-like action. And they have rattles. A little disappointing. Rapala. But that's not really the point. Because that bait will catch fish. Gosh, it's a pretty bait, you know. It's almost as pretty as ones I make. There's one of my brim-colored baits that I make. Anyway, I get the new baits in. I start going through stuff and finding a place to put some of these baits. And the hooks are horrible. The hooks on the Bagleys were bad. I think the Rapalas were worse, except some of the Bagleys are a bigger hook. It don't matter. Some of them are it's just horrible. They're sharp now. That's how you can't reach in and touch a bait without that happening. They're not sharp enough. I'm gonna reach over and grab this Bagleys. I'm just gonna pick it up, and they're that quick, right? So that's how you know. Look at that. Close enough. Horrible. What are they thinking? Most people are probably too lazy to sharpen hooks the way they need to sharpen them. I can be too lazy too, but I'm fixing fish in tournaments. I can't afford to lose fish. I'm not good enough to lose very many bass. I need all of them I can get. I don't know what these lure companies are doing now. First thing you hear, well, you can buy premier hooks. You can buy those high-end hooks. Why would I waste the money on them? I've talked about this in a hook sharpening video and a sharp hook video. Whenever I did that last spring or whatever. These hooks are going to get dull right away anyway. I'm banging them into rocks, throwing them off boat docks. I'm crashing them, everything I can crash them into. Topwater's not as bad, but these crankbaits, they get abused. I beat paint off of them. and they're going to get dull anyway. Now, on the water, dull is different. Dull when you're done fishing. When you're done fishing, yeah, you can place hooks, but on the water, especially if I got a bait that's a working, I'm going to sharpen those hooks during the day. If you don't do that, you don't care about every fish you catch. If you don't care about putting every fish that you get bit by in the boat, then you don't need to be watching this anyway. I'm wasting my time, and so are you. I was really disappointed how bad those hooks were. Premium baits is what bag leads and repel have always been premium. They're not second rate. Now, it's interesting, though, on these baits, mostly they're just $1 or $2 more than they was back in the day, which back in the day they were expensive. Where you could buy a regular crankbait for $2.50, they were $6 and $7. The most I paid for these was $9. I paid $6 or $7 for some of those DB1s or B1s. So anyway, disappointed badly with the dull hooks. I'm gonna keep sharpening my hooks like the old school way that I do things. For one thing, when I hit the water on a tournament morning, I should have every confidence, every bait in my boat. I wouldn't have confidence if I didn't touch those hooks, because fall fish are notorious for slapping at baits, hitting baits with their mouths closed until they really get on that feed, and I don't know when that's going to be because it's still early yet. Water's still warm. You get those days where they're hitting with the mouth closed, it can be depressing. I've had big bass after big bass hit baits and not get hooked before I learned more. And I'm still going to miss those fish too, of course. But I missed a lot of fish over the years without having sharp enough hooks. Topwater. Slapping at those spooks and those chug bugs and stuff. My old school baits, of course. I've never thrown a whopper plopper in a tournament in my life. I've got them in my box and they're going to be sharp. I've never thrown a whopper plopper in my life. I've never thrown a whopper plopper on a lake, on a reservoir. I've pond fished with them. That's how old school I am. That's how new they are. Anyway, sharp, sharp, sharp. I am just absolutely going to be adamant that every hook, from my worm hooks to I've sharpened crappie jigs before. I have sharpened those crappie hooks because mostly they're just junk, dull, have that little turn down to the barb to the end. So if premium hooks are what you need, you better stock up and keep them in the boat. Keep split ring pliers and be ready to change out hooks as you go. I used to keep sharp hooks in a package in the boat. Actually, I've got a package of hooks in the boat right now. I just remembered. I better get those out. They're probably not sharp enough. Thank you guys. Appreciate you watching me jacking around on a chilly fall day. We're going to have our first fire in a wood stove tonight. That'll make fishing better though, won't it? See you guys. God bless.